up, everyone? So I'm doing another video fishing report today. It's Monday and the wind is just ripping out here on the Delta. We had those 100-degree weather the past couple of days, and now you saw that the temperatures are dropping like 15 degrees out here in the valley. And when that happens, you know, the wind is coming across the Delta. So I just came through Frank's track and it was like 3-foot giant rollers through there. It was crazy. So I'm out here doing a little fishing, doing a little testing for Damiki. I'm gonna hide from the wind a little bit this morning, throw a little top water, see if I can get some fish in the boat. The air temps this morning were like 61 and the water temp right now is 69.5. So let's see if I can put some patterns together today and see what's going out here on the Delta. Oh, what the? So I'm on the other side of this slough. The wind over there wasn't so bad. I was throwing some top water on a walking bait I'll show you a little bit later called the Rambler by Damiki. You can see it's pretty windy. You probably can hear it in the mic. I'm gonna fish this side, which is the rocky bank side. It's got a bunch of toolies and the wind's just pounding up against it. I'm gonna see if I can get bit on this new Damiki square bill crankbait called the Brute. Oh, that's a good one. Oh yeah. Look at that one. Look at this. This is the new Damiki Air Frog. And this guy choked it. Yeah. That's a nice solid one. Let me show you this bait after I get this fish unhooked. I mean, I hooked him good too. I mean, that's all the way through the side plate on his face. That's a solid keeper right there. Shoot, that's my first bite of the day. I've been out here for about 3 hours. It's been pretty slow. You'll see, let me show you, I caught, just before this one, I caught a 9-pound striper, my biggest striper I've ever caught out here. It was on this, I'll show you the two baits. It was on this Damiki Gizzard Shad, and I got it, it's a chatter bait. This just happens to be a blade runner. It's a 3/4 ounce in a white, kind of a shad. And this is a Gizzard Shad, the new Damiki Gizzard Shad. It's got a break in the tail. You can see that thing wiggle like that, really good. So I'm using it as a trailer, big profile. Check out this footage real quick on the GoPro of me, this 9-pounder. I was rolling it through 2 islands. I was just fishing some points, trying to go point to point, see if I could put a pattern together, and this fish just smoked it.
I got a toad striper on here. He ate that right there.
All right, so let me show you this new Damiki air frog. This thing's awesome. That's my first bite on it ever, and the hookup on it was awesome. This thing pinned right through its jaw. There was no way that fish was going anywhere. I have this Damiki air frog on it's a size 6 beast hook. You know, it's got the screw lock on it, and you need that big wide gap because this bait's got a lot of meat on it. But look at these big kicking feet on this bait, and it's got a big wide profile. I mean, it looks just like a frog. The cool thing about this bait is it's got air pockets in it, so when you throw it and it goes on its back, it always will right itself up. That's the one thing about kicking frogs, is that sometimes you get them, they'll want to go upside down, or you have to use a weighted hook to get them to come back again. But this thing right here always flips over every single time. And so I got this big beast hook on here. I mean, that's a big giant hook. It had plenty of room. That fish sucked it up. I got it on 20-pound braid, throwing it on my Dobbin 733 and just pitching it into this. This thing's perfect for throwing it in sparse toolies. So I found a bank here. I stopped real quick. I never really ever fished here before, and I saw some sparse toolies, and then this thing, super weedless. You can get it through the toolies, and there's a little pocket, another toolies, another little pocket, all sparse, and this thing just happened to come up out of one of those pockets and just slurped it. So that was cool. Fish on. Oh, it's a little guy. But, woo! Oh shit, that's gonna go on my head. Little one that's on that new square bill, that Damiki Brute. There we go. Finally. Oh. Decent one too. Oh, I got barely hooked. Oh, finally hooked one up with this thing. They've been slapping at it all day long. That's a solid one too. It's fat like a football. Look at that guy. All right, let me show you what's going on here. This is the Damiki Rambler. So now, today, I've caught a fish on every bait out here that I've been testing out. That's a nice little chunky football 2-pounder. Let me show you what's going on with this Rambler. It's a stick style bait. It's got 3 gnarly treble hooks on it. I'll give you a close up here so I don't run into the wall. This happens to be the bone color. I love bone out here. This one's actually taken from Piz Customs. This is Paul's bone color that he made up for Damiki. Let me give you a close-up of this, how cool the detail is on this bait. So, you know, it's got the yellow under there. We got 3 hooks with a tail feather treble on the back. And the cool thing about this bait is it's not round. It's got 2 little, if you look on the sides, it's got edges on there, so it helps it plane and stay, and you can just walk, you know, walk this thing back and forth and back and forth. So I'm just fishing, just going down some riprap banks, trying to see if I could pick up a few. I had 3 or 4 blow up on it already today, and they kept knocking it out of the water, and I think I had some bad braid on here because I kept snapping it off, and then the fish would jump and throw it, and I'd be able to retrieve it. I should have lost this bait twice today. So, and I'm throwing it on, this is 20-pound braid, and this is the 705 CB by Dobbin. So it's got a pretty soft tip on there that helps me work the bait back and forth to keep it kind of walking and not move it too close to the boat. And then when they grab it, it loads up real nice on them, and I'm not pulling those hooks out of their face. So maybe I can get a few more. Oh, what the? Damn, why does it keep breaking off? Oh, he flipped it. What the hell? What is going on? All right, I'm done out here. It's about 12:30. The water temps went up about 5 degrees or 75. I forgot to mention what tide it was. It was the high falling tide. It was about a 3.5 foot swing starting about 6 o'clock till about 12:30. I didn't catch a lot of fish today, but I did catch a fish on every one of the Damiki baits that I threw. The other thing I was doing out here is I was just kind of searching around for some new water to fish for the upcoming Snag Proof Open. Let me show you real quick the 4 Damiki baits I was throwing. I was throwing this new red square bill crankbait. This is the Brute. It's got a nice big profile in red, and it's got a really good wobble to it. So I caught the one fish on this, throwing it on again on the 704 CB, and that big striper I caught it on this Blade Runner 3/4 ounce bladed jig with that Damiki Gizzard Shad on the end of it. Nice big profile, 20-pound braid. I threw this on the Dobbins 734 split handle, and then I'll show you I had a couple blow-ups on this today, but only one hookup on this new. It's called the Rambler, and that's by all these are by Damiki. This is the walking bait with a big knocker in it, some glass beads in the head. 20-pound test, threw it on the Dobbins 705 CB. And then lastly is my absolute new favorite bait that they came out with is this kicking frog. It's the air frog. And I'll show you the close-up. It's got this big long feet. It's got the air pocket in it, and it rights itself up every single time. Again, it's on this 6. It's on this beast hook, which is a 6, size 6, with the screws into the nose on it. 20-pound test, throwing it on a 733 Dobbins. Again, it's another split handle. So it was really windy today. I think the wind's gonna lay down a little bit over the next couple of days because the temperatures go back up again. Today was actually pretty nice. It's not even 90 degrees yet. The next couple of days, it's gonna be closer to 97, 98. So that means that wind is gonna lay down a little bit. I'm gonna come back out again one more day, probably tomorrow, and then take a break, and then I'll be back out again next week practicing for that Snag Proof Open. So give some of these new baits a try. If you haven't seen the Damiki baits, they'll be on their website pretty soon at damiki.com. So until next time, stay focused, fish hard, and I'll see you out on the water.